You want some bad news, Michael?
No.
What are you asking me?
You're the guru of the gray matter. I figured if anybody had it, you'd have the answer.
I can't give you any direction.
I think I'm going to have to change this channel. I'm sorry.
You're completely wrong.
I refuse to be wrong on 2 calls in a row.
Tell me I'm spot on or tell me I'm crazy as all get out.
I have no idea.
I have a 6-month-old, so we'll be raising him according to Dr. Ray.
Talk about being a winner.
So, you want my question?
You ain't making any sense.
You're absolutely right. I just needed confirmation.
So what are you going to do about it, Dawn?
I'm calling you.
Now, from the studios of Living Bread Radio Network in Canton, Ohio, the hometown of Mother Angelica, here's Dr. Ray.
Just got back into town, not more than half hour to go from Buffalo. Shuffled off. We had a wonderful time. Station of the Cross was there with us as we put together 4 Living Right with Dr. Ray episodes for season number 15 to be aired when we get all the 12 episodes put together and then sent on to EWTN. And I just want to, again, thank all the folks who showed up in the audience and raised the energy level. Thank you so very much. Without you, there is no show. I would simply not be able to do that program without you in the live audience. So all the folks in Buffalo, those of you tuning in, thank you so very, very much, as well as Station of the Cross Network. Got a chance to broadcast from their place last 2 days. Very, very nice. Mike, thank you so very much. Jim, Joanne, all of you. Appreciate it very much. And now I'm going to start very shortly here banging the drum because we're heading for Connecticut. Veritas Catholic Radio. So we'll be talking to Steve Lee and his bunch up there, and Bishop Caggiano Paisan says he wants to help us out in terms of getting folks there. So that's great. We'll get that started. I won't nag you just quite yet. But here back in Canton, Living Bread Studios, the number is 877-573-7825. 877-57 if you would like to call in. And, as I said, the audience makes the show, and it does so on the radio, too. I welcome your calls, whether they are about... Now, yesterday, there seems to be 3 topics that just really fill up the lines because everybody's got a thought about it. 1, tattoos. 2, animals in heaven. And 3, sitting in the pews at church on the end. All right. Well, today, I was going to talk about a dog sitting at the end of the pew in church with a tattoo, but I'll let that go for now. Instead, I'll invite your questions about the stuff of life: people, places, things, inanimate objects, anxiety, depression, question marks, kids, jobs, emotions, development, intellect. The list goes on and on. Andrew Kruchek is producer man today. He's also the call screamer. So you got a lot of stuff going on over there in Ann Arbor. We would love to hear your calls about the stuff of life. Or if you have a question like yesterday, people called in with a lot of helpful thoughts and ideas and welcomed them. Or if you just have a generic question that's not particular to your situation or circumstances, it's just something you wondered about in psychology or in the culture or faith, especially as it intersects with psychology. Dr. Ray, can dreaming be a sin? No. But I'd give you a more detailed answer than that. Well, it could be if you say, I sure hope I have that dream where I'm doing all kinds of really rotten things that I'd never do in real life. That'd be great to have that dream. Then you could be tripping along sinful territory. 877-57 equal. That is the number. Want to hear from you. Not unusually, starting out like Tom Jones here, it's not unusual. Parent will come into my office for a discipline matter, or more than a matter, a style, discipline problems. They'll say, things like this. I'm disciplining him constantly. I'm on him all the time. He doesn't listen. He doesn't listen. He's just disobedient. Various ways to describe the dynamic of this child misbehaving and the parent thinking that the child is impervious to discipline because they feel like that's all they do. So, do I dispute them? Do I say, well, no, you're not doing that? No, I wouldn't have any credibility. I'm not in their home. I can't simply say, I don't believe you. You have a false perception of your discipline effectiveness. No, come on, that's not cool. So I twick them. That's what I do. I twick them. I say, well, okay, let's do a little experiment. How many times a day on average would you say that this child misbehaves? Now, I have to define misbehavior. You can't just have a generic misbehaves. You ask him to do something, and he ignores you. And if you ask him 3 times, and he ignores you 3 times, that is 3 pieces of misbehavior. Or he torments a sibling. Now, in any sibling quibbling bout, you could have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces of misbehavior. And you try to stop him. You've warned him. Leave her alone. You guys don't have to be in the same room. If you can't play together, I'm going to take it. Whatever it is. You warn him and you say something, but nevertheless, he's done this. Or he sneakily does something. As I talk about all the possible ways that little Conan can misbehave, the parent says, that's it. Yeah, it's going to be hard to count that. Yeah, you could. Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. I'll say, how about 20 a day? I don't think so. That's too much. Now I say, wait a minute. If he's awake 15 hours, so say it's a Saturday, he's awake 15 hours. That's just a little over 1 per hour. Oh, it's more than that. It's more than that. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you just 20. 20 a day on a day that he's there all day. Second part of the equation. How many times a day does this child get disciplined? And, again, I have to define discipline. It's not a warning. It's not a nag. It's not a threat. It's not a remind. It is an actual consequence. Something happens. He goes to the corner. He goes to his room. He writes an essay. He puts his head down at the table. He does extra chores. He does push-ups. Whatever. There is a consequence, a tangible, observable consequence. And here's the other condition. He accepts it. In other words, if you tell him to go to the corner, and this evokes a 12-minute resistance, where you have to threaten him to get him into the corner, you have to threaten to take away a whole bunch of privileges, or you put him there and hold him there. In other words, he's not accepting it. They'll go, oh, The answers to that I usually get, how many times a day does he get disciplined, that he accepts, is anywhere between 0 and 2. Now think about it. You know this too. If you're having a discipline problem with a kid, no matter what his age, it's unlikely that he's going to actually experience a consequence of some type more than twice a day. I've had a few 5s thrown in there every once in a while over the years, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you 2. So this is what I tell him. I say, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you 2 a day that he accepts discipline without a fight. And I'm going to give you only 20 pieces of misbehavior. They'll go, but it's more than that. I go, That's okay. We'll take the lower estimate. What is 2 divided by 20? Oh, that's they get out their phone. Many people answer this. So it's 10%. That's right. It's 10%. That is your discipline consistency level. 10% of the time that he misbehaves, there is a consequence. There's a result. There's discipline. Nothing works 10% of the time. The other 90% that makes you feel like you're on him constantly and you're disciplining him is the illusion of discipline. It's words. It's arguing. It's tone. It's threats. It's yelling. It's frustration. It's negotiating. It's bribery. It's a whole bunch of other stuff. But it's not discipline. And I have to tell you, I rarely get someone in my office who is very frustrated by a particular kid's behavior, given the ages 3, 5, 8, 9, 12, 15, who says he misbehaves about 6 times a day and he accepts discipline about 6 times a day. Well, I don't want to say rarely. That's not true. 0. I've never had it. I've had some people say 50% of the time. I've had some people say he accepts his discipline without a fight. If I put the discipline on him, he will go to the corner. There's no fight. All right. But you see what happens here? You are fooled into thinking that this kid is incorrigible. This kid is just tough. He's so strong-willed and defiant and resistant because all that I've been doing. Well, with all good intentions, all that you have been doing is not very much. It creates the impression that you've been doing an awful lot. But indeed, if we look at the numbers, much of the time it's even under 10%, because most of the time people will say, he misbehaves constantly. And I'll say, well, then that's a 40 or 50, isn't it? Oh, Dr. Ray, 50, that's an awful lot, Dr. Ray. So wait a minute, if he's awake 15 hours, that's only 3 times an hour. That's 45, that's 3 times an hour. Well, the way you defined it, yeah, I could see it. So you take 2 divided by 50, and the discipline consistency level is 4%. 4%. Those are pretty good odds. You know, if I was a kid, I'd take my chances. If I could pretty much act the way I pleased and wanted to and carried on and did whatever the impulse hit me, and there was a 4% chance I was going to be held accountable, that's pretty good. Now, that said, because I got to get to your calls, a lot of folks waiting patiently. That said, most parents hover between 10 and 20%. That's the bad news. The good news, believe it or not, that's usually enough overall to get a fairly peaceable existence. It is. Kids don't want to take a chance at 20%. That's odds are too high. I'll control myself better. All right, let me give the number one more time. We come back, I'll get to the folks who are waiting patiently. 877-57-EQUAL. That is the number. Thank you.
Do you own popular index mutual funds or ETFs? If so, you're automatically own shares of companies that conflict with your moral beliefs. Ave Maria mutual funds are managed to conform to pro-life and pro-family values. Long-term investors can invest in the no-load Ave Maria mutual funds. The experienced professional portfolio managers make decisions based on investment fundamentals and pro-life values. You can learn more about Ave Maria mutual funds today at 866-AVE-MARIA or visit AveMariaFunds.com.
Being pro-life usually is associated with living a life of faith. And the reasons for this are not solely doctrinal, but are also what one might call experiential. Even with the marvels of modern ultrasound, the unborn child cannot be directly seen or touched. And yet, based on various signs and wonders, the pro-life person affirms and loves this hidden, shadowy reality. While the immediate reality is not there, still one who is awake to signs of the child's presence discards unbelief and believes. The life of faith requires a similar habit of being, opening oneself to the signs and wonders surrounding us every day, and from these signs and wonders to affirm that He is, just as the unborn child cries to us, I am. GuadalupeWorkers.org.
This program brought to you in part by Ave Maria, Florida, a big kind of small town where golf carts take you everywhere and there's always something fun around the corner. Discover championship golf, resort-style amenities, and a town center full of shopping and dining. With Ave Maria University and Ave Maria Catholic Church at its heart, it's a community full of connection and charm. More than 25 model homes are available for viewing. More information can be found at AveMaria.com. That's AveMaria.com.
Very nice to be with you. I appreciate it so very, very much. I appreciate the calls. All right, let's take them one at a time. Katie from Nashville, Tennessee. Hi, Katie.
Hi, Ray. Thanks for taking my call.
Well, you're more than welcome.
So I probably should give a little more back history than what I gave, just a general question to your call screener.
Sure.
I have a 19-year-old son. We've been homeschooling for a plethora of reasons. We've kind of extended things a bit, so he's finishing up his senior year courses, just some things lingering. He had always wanted to be a priest since he was little, and a year ago, about a year and 3/4 ago, I guess, he let us know he met a girl online who, at that time, he was 18, she was 15. They had been talking, of course, since that point, and her family came down to our city once and visited, so that was a year ago, May, and then he went up to visit her this past June.
So this girl is 16 now?
She's 16 now. 16 and a half. I'm not sure when her birthday is.
And he's 19.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And he's 19.
So the legal issues don't seem to bother him.
Correct.
Okay.
And she's Mormon. He's very much devout Catholic, obviously, having been wanting to be a priest.
Well, he was anyway.
Right. He's very well educated with his faith, more so than a typical teenager. And he was very much certain that he would be able to convert her. So that was his plan, because he, would only want to be with a Catholic girl. So there has been progress with that. There was at some point last year that he had asked us to pray for her. She was going to tell her parents that she wanted to convert. And because I was hands off,
that wouldn't happen. I never
asked how that happened or what happened, but he didn't give us an update, so I'm guessing that didn't go well. I will say, when they were all here visiting with us, her family actually attended the traditional Latin Mass with him. So maybe that door is more open than it would be with a typical Mormon family, but I don't know.
I don't think at this point the conversion question is really the issue. I think the issue is this impulsiveness on the basis of not knowing this girl and her being very young.
Right.
So the question is this. Has he said, Katie, Mom, I'd like you to give me permission, but if you don't, I'm gone anyway.
Yeah, even more so, there's actually a ticket booked and one way. And because of not knowing how to bring that up, and he hadn't brought it up, and I happened to find out on the calendar app.
He didn't say I'm leaving. It's just unspoken. I'm leaving.
Right. And when I said I don't even know, I asked last time if you would please talk to us before you book a ticket, because that's how he booked his June ticket.
He's smitten. He's smitten with somebody he doesn't know.
Yes.
And furthermore, they're both on social media or whatever it is they connected with, which right away quick gives me all kinds of red flags about her parents.
Say that, they connected through a. They were both members of this conservative political organization, and
okay. Well, let's cut to it here, Katie. Katie, let's cut to it. What are you going to do when he leaves? What are you going to tell him? You're going to say, "Well, son, you understand that any support from us is gone."
We just found out a few days ago, so I'm kind of still reeling, and we have intentions to email, call, both. I'm not sure what the best approach is.
I would call the parents, and I would say, look, we are against this totally, and we would wish very much that you would not accept this.
Right.
That's what I tell them. Make it real clear. Now, you could say, son, she's a minor. You're not. Mm-hmm. This is a legal problem here. This is a major legal problem, because if she would happen to say, do you know what he did to me? The kind of trouble he could be in?
Right.
I think you got to make that real clear to him. You say, let's go talk to a family law attorney. Let's go talk to the court. Let's go talk to somebody we know in law enforcement. First, before you go, son, I'm going to tell you this. She's not 18. That's one. Then I would call the parents, and I'd say, we got a real problem here. I can't stop my son, but you can. I sure hope you do. There's legal ramifications here. And then I would also want to know if, in fact, they agreed to this, or he's just saying it, that, in fact, they're going to spring it on him. Oh, yeah. Oh, you met this really nice conservative guy, yeah. Oh, this is great. He can come and live with us. Which makes me wonder about them. Mm-hmm. So that's what I would do, Katie. But in the end, if he walks out and he says, I'm just doing this, Mom, because he's smitten with this girl, he's just not thinking at all, you may even be able to say to him, look, son, let's give this another 6 or 8 months before you go. Get to know her a little bit more, even if it is through internet communication. No, Mom, I know where my heart is. Okay. So that's where you're at, Katie.
Right. And we did actually propose that we would fly him up as much as he wanted, and
no,
we wanted to go.
Okay, I can't tell you. No, it's your business, but I wouldn't. No way.
Well, I'm trying to do whatever I can to at least stop the wheels in motion at the moment, which
stopping the wheels in motion.
Even with that offer and asking, let's go.
Stopping the wheels in motion would be he's a minor and he's a major and she's a minor.
Right.
I mean, it may be overlooked. I'm not sure how much they'd press something like this, but I think, according to the law, this is real ticklish. There you go, Katie. There's at least a few of your options. This is Dr. Ray, 877-573-7825, 877-57 equal to your calls. I know you're there. Here's the thing for Katie, the kid can leave. But he is definitely risking trouble. If, in fact, these parents are okay with some unknown 19-year-old coming and living in their home, I'd have all kinds of questions about the parents. What is this? And the fact, of course, that this 15-year-old is obviously online, and the fact that they don't know each other at all, other than whatever communication they did via the written, typed out, forgive me, that's an old term, I don't know what you call it, clicked out messages, all kinds of stuff there. But the problem is, Katie's in a position, she can say, okay, we'll do this, and we'll do this. But if the kid says, I'm going, and those parents say, you're welcome, it's going to implode. I'll give you 10-1 on that one. That thing's going to implode. And then I should have said to Katie, but I had other calls to get to. I should have said, what are you going to do when it implodes? When something untoward happens? And the other thing is, once again, if it were me, there's no financial support on this whatsoever. None. Zero. Zip. Nada. So he's going to either be living off of them, or he's going to get a job, or he's going to forsake college. I don't know what he's going to do. Roberta from Dearborn, Michigan. I remember Dearborn the first time I was about 8 years old. She just dropped. She left me. Dearborn. Oh, dear. I was born. Julie from St. Louis Mo. Hi, Julie. Hello, Julie.
Thanks for taking my call. Hello.
Sure. Yes, ma'am.
Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Well, I don't really know if you're going to want a backstory, but I'm really at a point, and I don't want to be, but I don't know what else to do. Like, at what point do you give up on your marriage?
Well, are you a Catholic, and do you believe that your commitment was for life?
Yes.
Okay, well then
yes.
That makes the point. That makes the point pretty far off.
I know. But
is there
in your line of work?
Is there abuse? Are you fearful for your well-being? Is there danger?
I feel like there's emotional abuse. I feel like.
Well, now you're getting squishy. Now you're getting real squishy, Julie. Because if you start saying, I'm not happy here, I don't like this person, or this person isn't easy to live with, or we argue all the time, whatever it is.
We argue all the time.
Well, it takes two to argue, Julie.
Yes, it does.
It takes two to argue.
I've always admitted that to him, and the thing is, like, I feel like he loves to throw the word accountability out, but when he gets called out on his stuff...
All right. We can't get into the details on this, Julie. I'm just simply saying, when your question is how long do you persevere, if you're saying, I'm not happy here, I don't like this guy, from a Catholic perseverance perspective, that's not reason to separate or divorce.
Right, and I don't want to. I guess I'm looking at what kind of tools can you do when you live with someone who doesn't see the wrong in their actions and seems to blame you for everything. How can you get through to somebody about their behavior and how it affects you?
Okay, you said a couple of things. If you were in therapy, I would go after these, but I got to be brief here. You said someone who doesn't see the wrong in their actions. Okay, that's a blanket statement. And then you said something like, I forget, but you used the word every. Keeping in mind now,
I think it was.
I got to believe if I talked to him, he'd say some of the same stuff about you. So, again, I can't know, but what I'm saying is, if you're saying, how do I not argue with him so much, well, one of the things is you don't argue with him so much. In other words, when you see this is starting to hit a dead-end argument, and here we go again, I say, you say, I say, you say, you got to pull out of that. You got to just simply say, well, I don't want to argue with you. I don't want to argue with you about this. Well, you're wrong. Okay, I'm wrong. In other words, you're pulling the plug on this. Because if you sit there and you start pounding away at how he's wrong and how he doesn't see it your way and he needs to open up, and that may very well be. You may get 100 people to say 98 of them says Julie's the one that's in the right. That's fine. But if he's not going to budge, that doesn't do you any good at all. So what I would suggest is you decide how much are you entering into this kind of friction, and you're going to figure out how to pull out of some of it. You're not dumb. You know how to stop arguing. You know how to say, I don't want to argue anymore. You know how to say, well, okay, I can give on that. You know how to say, well, I don't think I did that, but I'll apologize. Whatever you want to do. I mean, I can't give you one blanket formula because obviously these kinds of arguments you get in have all kinds of details to them. But you're the one, because you can't change him, only through changing you. And if you say, how long do you persevere in a marriage? The number one reason people divorce is, I don't like you anymore. That's number one reason. You're hard to live with. You're critical. You're scolding. You don't see where you're wrong. You're not giving enough. And that may all well be true. But what happens is then they don't persevere past the point of trying to improve the marriage or trying to look at themselves and see what they can do differently to bring at least a lower level of friction in the marriage. So, thank you, my dear. I appreciate it. Sheila is stuck in the middle. Stuck in the middle. I don't know how she got stuck in the middle. Did they put her there? Hi, Sheila.
Hi, Dr. Ray.
You know, I hate to say this. Sheila, I hate to say this.
Yeah.
And I don't know why this is. I played softball for many years.
Okay.
If we come up to bat and we hit a little dribbler to the pitcher, or we popped up to the third baseman, do you know what they would say?
I give up because I don't play baseball. Go ahead.
They would say, hit the ball, Sheila.
Okay.
They did. And you know why they did that? Because in Australia, a Sheila is a woman. And softball players, you know, we're borderline thugs. We are. We've been sniffing softball dust for 30 years. It does something to your brain. So we just say, hey, you're hitting the ball like a girl. Now, in today's culture, you can't say that, but we're softball players. We say it. All right. How can I help you, dear?
I'm sad. It's sad that in today's culture, we just can't just speak.
I know. Ain't that the truth? Well, softball players do. They don't care. So what can I do for you?
That's good. More people shouldn't care. Okay. So I have a 30-year-old-ish godson, and he is the son of my sister. I get along just fine with my sister. I get along great with my godson. He got married several years ago. Now they have 3 children, brand new newborn twin boys that arrived last month. And he and his mother are at odds all the time. And I can see sort of kind of why. I see a level of immaturity in my godson that I wish wasn't there, but it is.
Okay. Stay there here. That music means I got to go, Sheila. So stay there. I'll be right back. Don't hit the button, Sheila. 877-57 equal. This is Dr. Ray. Thanks for joining me. I am talking, and I didn't mean to distress her by this, because when we say hit the ball, Sheila, we also say, sometimes, depending, hit the ball, Shirley. Kind of an SH girl's name. I don't know why that is. Okay, Sheila is there from Boone, Iowa. Still there, dear?
I am here.
Okay, here's what I got so far. That you are the godmother of your 30-year-old nephew. Your sister and the nephew butt heads like crazy. You look at him and you say, yeah, I could see how he could be frustrating, but I get along with him, and I get along with her. So how does this put you in the middle?
Because there is some intense issues going on, and I don't know if they're real or imagined. I don't want to be in between. I don't want to mediate. I don't want to even tell one what the other has said. I can't do that. I won't. But I feel like I've counseled them both a little bit just in terms of peacemaking. I told my sister, perhaps there's something you've done, which he describes to me that she did, that has upset him and you don't even know it. I said, have you gone to him and said, has there been something that I did that upset you? And her response is always, well, he'll just say this to me. And then I'll sit and listen for a minute and then I'll say, but have you done it? Have you done that? And same with him. Have you been able to say to your mom, it bothers me when you do this? And he swears he has, but everything that she tells me says, boy, oh boy, this is all getting really lost in the translation.
Well, how often do they...
telephone game on steroids.
Sheila, how often do they dump on you about the other person?
They live out of town. They live 3 hours away. So it's usually, it's infrequent, but I feel like every time we have a conversation on either end, it's wrought with this crap. And
how do you get out of it?
I don't want to,
How do you get out of that conversation?
I listen, and I say, like I did to my sister again yesterday, what if you would go to him and just say, Stephen, if there was anything at all that I have done that has upset you, I am sorry. How many
times do you think you've approached it that way?
Oh, this was the first time I approached it this way.
Okay. All right. But you have tried get them to see a little bit how to reconcile. You've done that, right?
Right. Yes.
Okay. Right. So what we need to do is to find a better way to not get pulled into, I'm going to tell you what the other person's like because they're really rotten. I would say something like, I don't want to get in the middle of this at all. I love you both. That's about it. Right. Well, okay, but see, they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. They're not going to go, oh, okay, well, then I'll talk about the mini print in my bedroom. No, they're going to go, but okay, but what she did this time? And then you repeat yourself after about a sentence. No, I really shouldn't. I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear either of you complain about the other person anymore. Because what's happening here, Sheila, is that they're firing themselves up about the other person because they're looking for an ally in you.
Well, they are, but I haven't admitted to either one of them that the other has spoken to me about them. So I can't say.
Well,
and I can adjust what I can say.
I can bet they surmise it. Sheila, I bet they surmise it. They're not going to think, wow, Sheila doesn't know anything about what he thinks about me. Nah.
Well, I was there the other night and spent the night. I was in from out of town, and I wanted to see the twins, and I had made them some gifts, and I wanted to deliver those personally, and I called and said, can I deliver these things to the boys, and can I come and see you? And they were both, he and his wife were like, oh, yeah, please come. And we get along just great.
Okay.
But my sister, of course, had to call me the next day and say, how was your visit?
Yeah, she was saying, Sheila, she wasn't saying, how was your visit? She was saying, what did he say about me?
Right.
I know. That's why we said she knows he complains to you about her because she complains to you about him. I think you need to really extricate yourself quicker. Just, hey, guys, I don't want to get in the middle of this. This is between you two. I don't know either side. I'm just hearing one person's perspective. I really don't want to. I love you both. I'm not going to, And then if they keep going, which they will, you say, I told you I can't respond to this. And then say they just keep going, and it goes 4 minutes, and then they stop, and then you say, so what else is new in your life?
Yeah, to be bluntly...
bluntly obtuse. That's right. I'm very good at being bluntly obtuse. Mm-hmm. Listen to my show for 2 days, and you'll know how to do it.
I listen to you every day. I know exactly how to do it.
Easy. Hey, hit the ball, Sheila. Hit the road, Sheila.
absolutely wear appropriate and only wear appropriate. I totally get it. I just haven't had.
You know what, honey? It's so common. People look for allies. And if they're in some kind of friction-filled relationship with another person, especially within the same family, I'm going to tell you what they're really like. I'm going to tell you their latest.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happens.
And little do they know, I've been alive longer than both of them. I know what they're both like. I mean, what I really want to say is, do you take me for stupid?
Yeah, I know. I got problems with both of you, so be quiet. No.
Oh, shut up. Oh God, that's funny.
Yeah, pull out of it quicker. Yeah, honey, pull out of it quicker. Otherwise, you'll just get reeled in. Yeah. Thanks, Sheila. And I am not going to ever say hit the ball, Sheila, anymore. I'm not.
Well, you can say it to somebody else named Sheila, but it goes over my head.
That sounds good. Thank you, dear. Bye. Yeah, it's okay. We softball players, we're kind of semi-thugs. It's true. My brother, when he met his wife, her dad found out that my brother Mike was a softball player. Like with me, we played together for years. We're very, very inveterate. We were into it big time. Okay, tournaments, state tournaments, national tournaments. We were all that stuff. And he found out that this guy that she's gone out with a few times plays a lot of softball. And that in and of itself made him nervous. Because he had this stereotype of softball players, which is not totally inaccurate. As most stereotypes are not totally inaccurate, or they wouldn't have become stereotypes to begin with. 877-573-7825. There's a couple of questions up there off air, but I would welcome you on air if you'd like to call in now. We still got some time. Take a break and then a few more minutes. This is Dr. Ray.
Dr. Ray has more great advice coming up. Don't go anywhere. And that's a doctor's order.
Mother Teresa said, the poverty of being unwanted, unloved, and uncared for is the greatest poverty. At St. Joseph's Helpers, their mission is not only to repair homes for those in need, but to repair hearts by providing companionship and peace of mind, especially for the veterans and the elderly. Their dedicated volunteers give their time to help with small household repairs, including minor plumbing and electrical. To request service, volunteer, or donate, visit St. Joseph's Helpers today at sjhelpers.org. That's sjhelpers.org.
The Heart of the Interior Life with Elizabeth Jingle.
In the 13th rule of St. Ignatius of Loyola's 14 rules for the discernment of spirits, St. Ignatius gives us clear direction regarding to whom we should speak with to assist us in rejecting the deceits of the enemy and to break the spiritual silence. St. Ignatius teaches, but when one reveals them to one's good confessor or to another spiritual person who knows his deceits and malicious designs, it weighs on him very much, because he perceives that he will not be able to succeed with the malicious undertaking he has begun, since his manifest deceits have been revealed. Ignatius invites us to reveal the deceits of the enemy to one's good confessor, a priest that understands the workings of the enemy, or to another spiritual person who is also familiar with the enemy's deceits. This spiritual accompaniment will make all the difference in the spiritual journey.
For more information, visit AveMariaRadio.net.
CMF Curo is a Catholic healthcare ministry providing families nationwide with a better solution centered around whole health, spirit, mind, and body. Our members share their medical burdens within a faith-filled community. At CMF Curo, our members have access to a spiritual director, concierge services, and other health and spiritual resources. Find out if CMF Curo is a better solution for your family. Visit mycatholichealthcare.com. That's mycatholichealthcare.com.
bit of 60s theme music. I think they got me on my trivia team for questions from the 60s, but since these young people who write these trivia questions were born in 1997, every once in a while, they call it ancient history. They don't label the category the 60s. They label the category ancient history. All right, let's talk to Chris from Illinois, and her son is doing some questioning. Okay, I like it. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Dr. Ray.
How old's your son?
21.
Okay, that's prime questioning age.
Yes. So, I suspected he wasn't in a great place with his faith, so I asked him the question I've been wanting to ask for the last few years since he started college, and before he went back to school this year. And he said it was a good conversation, but what it kind of boiled down to is that he referred to himself as a second-hand doubting Thomas, and said that he questions that Jesus existed. His reasoning being that if he worked miracles 2,000 years ago, and showed up in person then, why isn't he doing that today? And that's kind of where he was. He just he struggles to believe, but he also admitted that he doesn't think science explains it all, and he wants it to be true.
Okay. Well, let's jump on is he willing to read anything?
Not that I can tell. I can't tell that he's seeking, and that's what I did share in the conversation. Keep seeking, but actively he's not. He gets bored easily. I think, as far as all the things nowadays that keep your attention, it has to be wow kind of thing. So
there is a website.
He reads a lot of nonfiction. He reads a lot, but it's nonfiction. Sorry, I said the wrong word. It's fiction.
Okay, gotcha.
That's what I meant to say.
There's a website
sci-fi
by Father Robert Spitzer. It's called Magis Center, Magis.
Yeah.
Okay. Now there are nice bite-sized explanations of modern miracles. I would also tell your son, son, if you're going to be fair, if you're going to look at the evidence, there is virtually no scholar of any repute whatsoever that doubts that Jesus existed. None. Not only do we have Scripture, which is reliable writing, even if you don't believe it's God's Word, but we also have Roman historians who've written about this Jesus guy. So nobody doubts Jesus existed. The question you have, son, is who is he? That's the question. That's a fair question. Okay, then here's my challenge. If you're going to ask these questions, if you're going to say, well, why isn't he around now doing miracles? You don't stop with the question, son. If you have any kind of intellectual honesty, if you ask a question, you seek an answer. If you don't like the answer, then you doubt. But you haven't even sought any answers.
Yes, and that's where I said you need to keep seeking. That's where I ended the conversation.
But he's not seeking. No, you know what he's hearing.
He's not. How do I?
What he hears you saying, Chris, is, well, you need to keep asking questions. No, because he can ask a million questions.
Okay.
He's not seeking any answers.
Okay.
Go to Magis Center, find some stuff there that's real digestible. It's stuff that is used in high school courses, and it really explains some beautiful aspects of the faith, scientifically supported. Tell him to go to shroud.com. That's a website that really scientifically dives into the shroud. Okay. Tell him to look into the latest of the Eucharistic miracles. There's a couple of them that are really potent. Buenos Aires.
We had one at our parish. We had a traveling kind of display, the same one that was at Indianapolis this summer, and we took him with us. But I didn't see an impact.
What he would do is he'd go, oh, that's 34 of them. Yeah, okay, everybody's got a Eucharistic miracle. That's what he would do.
So we walked around as a family and looked at him, but I think he was just kind of bored. That's what he would do.
Right. He's not even looking at it. But there are a couple, like the Buenos Aires miracle. Look that up. That's recent, 1996. That has been studied up one side and down the other by atheists in New York. Scientists who said, you know what, I can't explain this. This is living heart tissue. And what'd you do? Did you tear it out of some guy's chest? So you challenge him. You say, okay, son, if you want to doubt all this, you're playing fast and loose with your soul. But if you want to do this, at the very least, for your own soul's sake, you want to seek answers. If you don't like the answers, then you go, okay, I don't want to believe. I had a priest on the TV show yesterday. He was an atheist, scientist, and he said, before I completely give up on religion, I'm going to see what I'm leaving. And he explored. This is Dr. Ray. I got to run. Walk with God.
For information on Dr. Ray's presentations, books, and CDs, visit drray.com and follow him on Facebook and Instagram. The Doctor Is In is a co-production of Ave Maria Radio and EWTN Radio and carried across the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.